welcome back. I'm sad. Our time is almost at a close, but it's been amazing being with all of you here. It's the last day, but guess what? You save the best for last in a lot of cases, right? And we're still here with the information, nonstop, foot on the gas. As you just heard, from complexity to clarity, simplifying and securing campus networks from Nick and Matt. We are doing a lot of cool things, and we have a lot for you to absorb. AI optimized hardware, nobody does hardware better than us. Integrated security, nobody is doing that either. What do we mean by that? That's the quantum resistant encryption that we have on the hardware. You just heard about all of that. And then we have the lifecycle AI integrations, and that's that end-to-end assurance that we keep talking about because we want you to remember it. We don't want you to forget assurance, end-to-end connectivity. That's what it's about. Now, quick little housekeeping. Just because it's the last day does not mean that we don't want you to continue to share with us on social things that you love, things that are cool. If you took a nice picture with someone or with yourself, a selfie with a nice exhibit in the back, please share with us. Tag me. You don't even know me. I'm Lauren. Find me. I will look at it. I will like it. If nobody else likes it, our amazing team will like it. So please, we want to see you. We want to see your happiness, and we want to see this the last day. What am I talking about? Of everything. We want to wrap all that up with a nice bow. Also, if you don't remember, there's still the Cisco store. It's still open. So if you're still here on site, go down there, grab things while you can. Don't be like me and wait until the last minute because your favorite item may be gone. So please run to the Cisco store before you leave. There's a lot of great stuff. And now, I think I see my dear friend Steve out there in the center stage with Nick and Matt. Steve, I'm sending it over there to you to talk with these lovely gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And they are indeed lovely gentlemen. You're exactly right. So as you say, we do love coming back here to center stage because we get this sort of behind the scenes. So I've got Mac, I've got Nick with me. Thank you guys, gentlemen. Really well done out there. I just want to ask you a couple of questions about the talk you just gave. What would you say is maybe the one message, the one core idea you're really hoping people will grip onto and that will stay with them after the presentation? I'll have each of you give me that issue. Matt, let's go ahead and start with you, Matt.
Yeah, I think, for us, really the pace of innovation that we're driving is really unparalleled. In my 25 years at Cisco, the number of product announcements we've done, the innovation that we're driving are really, unparalleled. And I think what we've heard from customers is that they need to be able to consume and adopt our technologies faster, and we're going to do that, powered and driven through operational simplicity that's backed by AI. So that's really the message that we're driving here, is that we want to make it easier for customers to build secure networking, but actually be able to secure and manage that secure networking much easier.
I love that. Nick, I want to shoot the same question to you to let you kind of build on top of what Matt just said.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be an imperative for customers to embrace this change. Like, organizations can only go as far as their network will take them. And the pace of change is so fast that competitors in any given industry, the ones who embrace it quickly, are going to be the ones who are going to win. And you need a different way to operate your network, run the network, while keeping it simple and safe. And hopefully that's a message people take away.
Amen. And that's kind of what G2 talked about in the keynote as well. There are two types of companies out there in the world, those that embrace the change that's coming at us and those that are going to get left in the dust. That's not an exact quote, but kind of close to it. Everybody, they come here to the show and they come in with a certain mindset. Here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm looking for, right? If we could start to shift the mindset of the folks who are here, the Cisconians all across the world, in some way that that our team leaders would be able to see things differently or understand what's possible thanks to these new switches, these new announcements, these new releases, what would you want that mindset shift to be?
Well, I think the big change for us, as I said earlier, is the pace of innovation. And we really see AI as this accelerant for our customers. And we're not thinking just about networking, just about security, as these things as different sets of technologies or products. We're actually showing customers how we can bring the entire portfolio together. And that's really going to make their jobs much easier. It's going to be easier for them to actually drive outcomes for the business.
This is an empowerment play, right? I mean, we are empowering. We're putting that power into people's hands. They just have to be willing to receive it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we're of a certain age where we grew up with this stuff, but kids today, new people coming into the industry, they have different expectations for what ease is and simplicity. And big investors in the ecosystem to train our customers and our users, but that model's evolving. We need to meet customers where they are so they can learn, they can quickly and easily embrace our technology so they can get the business outcomes that they need.
Beautiful. Let's do about 45 seconds more here. Think about our enterprise teams, right? How do we get them thinking differently about their campus network, say in light of current AI-driven changes that we're looking at, the things that you were talking about here in your session?
Well, I mean, I think for one, these events are great for learning. All the sessions were packed because I think customers in their gut know that the world is changing. This is all new, it's moving so quickly. I got to keep pace, and I need to make sure my teams keep pace. So I think from the Cisco folks, as well as our customers, there's a genuine curiosity of how we can help each other. We want to hear from them so we can build better products, and I think ultimately customers want to know from us how they can operate and deploy better network technology.
I love that. I'm going to ask one more question, because we got a couple more seconds here, right? If we look ahead, what really excites the two of you most here about the role that this new switching platform is going to play in how we are shaping the AI-powered landscape in the future?
Well, I think for me, it's really about the velocity that we're going to get as we start to use agentic ops to think about not just switching in isolation, but really those business outcomes. So this ability for customers to do troubleshooting faster and ask questions about how to assess performance and do so using natural languages, that's a complete game changer.
Love that. Matt, Nick, guys, thank you so much. Great session. Truly appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Great, thank you.
Lauren, let's send it back up to you.
Wow, 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 wow. I love the quote, security is an AI accelerator. Not a prohibitor, not a deterrent, it's an accelerator. I love, love, love it. Now let's keep loving all this action, and there's some more great content that's coming right up with Rob and our lovely guests we have in the studio.
Well, we have two awesome guests. I just want to get the names right here so I don't mess this up as I've done. Marty Jane is VP of Sales and Business Development at NVIDIA. And then we've also got DJ Sampath, SVP AI and Security for Cisco. And with that, I'll turn it over to Marty and let him handle the conversation.
DJ.
Hey, Marty.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of AI work together, Cisco and NVIDIA. And I want to ask you a question about one specific area. But before we go there, I want to kind of set context for the audience here.
Yeah, please.
So the modern AI revolution has its roots in 2012, when a team of researchers won the ImageNet competition with GPUs.
Yes, that's right.
We call that the perceptive AI era. Because now AI could perceive things, objects, cats, dogs. Then ChatGPT in late 2022 kicked off the generative AI era.
A huge revolution.
Revolution, right?
Yeah.
And now you can generate things. Now, with the last few years, with more computing availability, innovations, frankly, from developers like you, we have landed in the agentic AI era.
That's right.
At the keynote, you and then Jitu and Kevin Weil talked about what agents can do.
Yep.
We're talking about research agents that can think. All of this requires, this modern AI revolution requires an AI factory.
An AI factory, that's right. I love that term.
What we call a full stack AI factory. It requires storage, it requires networking, it compute, AI software stack. So we announced an AI factory with you, or the other way. However, it wasn't just an AI factory.
That's right.
It was a secure AI factory.
Right.
So what I'd like to do, if you wouldn't mind, first tell us what is a secure AI factory?
Oh, you bet. Here's the thing, right? When you think about enterprises that are looking to adopt AI, one of the biggest concerns that they have is safety and security. They want to make sure that, when they are starting to use AI, the models that they're using are not vulnerable to any types of attacks. When they are using these models and they're using the data that's proprietary to what's inside of their own environment, they want to make sure that at runtime this data doesn't leak any confidential proprietary information.
It's the deepest secrets. It's the enterprise's deepest secrets.
That's right. And AI fundamentally changes that equation of how you access this data, right? Tokens of intelligence are being emitted by these AI factories, and they absolutely need to be secured. That's paramount to enterprises, because if you don't do that, it's complete catastrophe. Like, you just lost your core edge amongst your competitors. So when you start thinking about how do I secure my AI factory to be able to generate all of these agents, all of these applications, it becomes very, very critical. And this is where Cisco comes in. Cisco has this huge advantage when it comes to building security products, right? In fact, earlier in the year, we launched a product called AI Defense. We've been working on it for over a year before we launched it, but the core thesis over there was we need to make sure that there's a common substrate that seamlessly protects, both from a safety perspective and from a security perspective, the use of AI. Because there are going to be many, many models. You would agree?
Yep.
And there are going to be
You
many,
betcha.
many apps and
And
billions
more coming.
of agents.
More coming every day.
More coming every single day.
And not to mention the fact that a lot of these are open source models.
That's correct. That's exactly right.
That's right.
And in fact, if you look at what is really happening, from that perspective, the agentic, era is upon us, where you're going to see, tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of agents start to be created from these factories. And so you want to make sure that every agent that comes out is secure by default, right? Every time you deploy these, the models are safe and you have that common substrate baked into it. And we're making that available with a combination of technologies that come from Cisco, right? AI Defense combined with Hypershield, combined with the hybrid mesh firewall. These capabilities are being baked into that secure AI factory so that automatically when the enterprises start to think about deploying AI, they get all of that goodness.
It's almost like we talk about this full stack and goes from the infrastructure layer all the way to the application layer. What you're talking about, if I may, is it feels like every layer of the stack, you've got a security layer.
That's exactly right. It's defense in depth, right?
Defense in depth.
That's the way enterprises are thinking about security, and that's the way we think about security. And the cool part about this is, when you start to build AI that is safe and secure, you're going to see the adoption shoot through the roof.
That's super important because we're seeing this massive, well, I would like to see this massive proliferation in the enterprise.
That's right.
It feels like we're waiting to see so.
That's right.
Until we can address the security and safety needs.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to quote, it was Sam Altman who was at the Snowflake conference where he was talking about, two things that he said that was really interesting, right? The first thing he said is, listen, you're going to actually have these small models that are going to become de facto. Yes, they're going to be large models that are doing lots of interesting things, but you're going to see a lot of these small models that are bespoke and built for certain use cases that are going to be the way that happens. We should assume automatically for those models that the context windows are going to be absolutely infinite. Like, really large context window models are going to show up because you want these to be able to do different things. And last but not the least, you want these to connect across different data silos to be able to have the tool use, able to go do different things and bring back, a lot of information into the model.
Yeah, like we talk about, even in the agentic AI framework, we talk about agents calling other agents.
That's exactly
from different parts of the company.
That's right.
Or perhaps different parts of the network.
Correct. And so if you think about what Jensen announced at GTC in Paris as well, was essentially those core concepts distilled out to say, listen, the agentic frameworks are going to become the de facto way that people are trying to build these things. And we, as you know, at Cisco, already are there, in terms of using our AI defense, our entire security capabilities that we're building with AI defense is built on top of that framework, that agentic framework. Right, and the last thing I want to talk about here specifically on that topic is a lot of folks are waiting to jump in, right, from an enterprise perspective, and the common perception that we're starting to communicate to folks is if you're waiting for AI to settle in, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Because the speed with which this is moving, right? When we think about the exponential changes that are happening, we're at the beginning part of that exponent.
Absolutely.
And there's a long journey ahead, and it's moving at a rate that's so much faster. People waited for the cloud to settle down. People waited for mobile to settle down. It happened. Because guess what? It wasn't moving at the same pace as AI. So we recognize, we're telling the enterprises, do not wait. But we understand you need safety and security.
Yep.
And at Cisco, we're going to bake that into every single thing that we do along with NVIDIA. So what you get is a secure AI factory as your default option to be able to start your adoption journey.
Let's do this. Let's take 30 seconds. And if an organization is looking to adopt an AI factory, what would be your recommendation? Think of it like an MVP for a secure AI factory. What would you recommend?
At this point in time, here's the thing, right? A lot of them are getting, their hands, dirty with like, hey, I'm gonna download a model off of Hugging Face. I'm gonna get this going and running.
Right.
we're going to make it extremely simple by providing AI defense baked into their compute stack, powered by NVIDIA, in a very, very simple way where they can validate the models as they're downloading the models.
Validate the model.
And then deploy this at runtime to be able to see exactly how when these models, when the requests are coming in, the responses are going back, you can inspect them to make sure that there's nothing malicious in those prompt requests and prompt responses. And last but not the least, we want to provide visibility to all of your AI applications that are running on top of that stack.
Fantastic. Well, folks, you heard it. Thank you, DJ.
Hey,
thank you very much.
Marty, pleasure talking to you.
Talking.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what an incredible two guys to have on here. Been featured all week. Certainly a lot going on. And I think one of the key messages to take away from what we're hearing here is that there is a sense of confidence that hopefully you're getting from all the announcements that Cisco has made. Because any enterprise, it's easy, right? Our default reaction has been over the last decade or two is we got to wait and see, let the fast movers go out, make some mistakes, and then we catch up. But what we're all seeing and we're all feeling and just trying to figure out how do we deal with it is it's all happening fast. And you need a good foundation with good partnerships to be able to build on that so that you can execute, not wait, and not potentially be eclipsed by a competitor. It's an exciting market. It's a risky market, but there's so much goodness to be had, and I think Cisco's done a really good job of building that. So thank you to those two gentlemen for bringing that to us. Lauren, I'm going to go ahead and go back to you.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Rob. Cisco and NVIDIA, that partnership, better together. I love it. I'm going to send it out to Steve. We got so much good content coming to you all. He's with Andy Schultz out there. Steve.
Absolutely.
You
Thank you so much, Lauren. I do appreciate it. As you said a moment ago, yes, I am here with Andy Schultz, our VP of Product Management. So right now, Andy, we are talking about global secure connectivity. Specifically, how do we build service provider networks that can power AI connectivity, as we were talking about earlier? How are we helping service providers to really prepare their networks for AI here at Cisco Live? And what's changed? What is different this time versus previous investments in architectures?
Yeah, it's been a heck of a week. We've been showing all kinds of different things that we've been bringing to the table. We brought some new Silicon One devices that are bringing stability, resiliency, security to the network infrastructure. Then we have agentic AI that's over the top, running autonomous operations for that network. So these two things combined drive operational savings. They drive opportunities for CapEx improvements, and they drive monetization opportunities for our service providers.
Absolutely, and by the way, this kicked off at the keynote stage. I mean, G2 was very heavy on leaning into the changes in silicon, the programmability, so that we don't lock people into a single methodology or a single structure, the reprogrammability. Pretty exciting news on silicon.
Yes, so Silicon One has been this evolution for us where we really started from the core of the network, where we really established foundation. We've now really extended into the access and the edge. And this is where the service is established. This is where you make a smart decision with your customers' traffic and you do something of value for them. And now we're handing that off to AI workloads, where they can benefit from AI in their network and their operations.
And I love that the AI really, it seems like the biggest opportunities for AI right now are out at the edge. We're talking about that in a different way than we ever talked about before, right? So as our SPs are starting to pursue these autonomous networks, how can we here at Cisco help them to enable multi-agentic AI, allow them to be able to really simplify those network operations and enhance their resilience in this market?
Yeah, so we've taken this multi-agentic framework and this strategy, we've implemented it on top of our Crosswork platform, which is basically managing the entire network, all of the element management. We look at the operations, everything that operator goes through every day, and we make those tasks that have been mundane and repetitive, and we make them just simple. They go through, we leverage all of these agents that are throughout the network to really go after that. So yeah, a lot of savings that we're getting there.
It is so empowering to people. Do me a favor, share maybe an example, a boots-on-the-ground example of how enterprises, SPs can benefit from the innovations that we're doing here within Cisco Agile Services Networking, how it allows them to participate in this growing AI ecosystem and really stay in the lead within their markets.
Yeah, so I think from a service provider perspective, we think there's an opportunity for them to start delivering AI services directly to their customers or work with these neoclouds that are coming out using some of their facilities that they have, in a lot of cases that are sitting there dormant. Now you can start putting those AI workloads, attach it to your service edge. You have a real monetization effort and opportunity there for you.
I absolutely love this story. Andy, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, hear what's new and what's going on. Congratulations on an amazing show. Really great job. Lauren, let's send it back to the studio.
Thanks so much, Steve and Andy. Passing it over to you, Rob.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lauren. I've got a guest here with me that I was kind of excited to be able to interview. Tom Gillis, SVP and GM for Security and Infrastructure. And I was just telling you how I haven't had a chance to really listen to you because I literally studied when you started talking Hypershield and some of the other things. But you've been around Cisco at various stages for a very long time.
Yeah.
Today feels momentous, this particular week. Can you tell us this idea of fusing security into the network? And when I think about that devices, I feel like we've been doing some of that, or that's a story we've had before, but I bet there's differences.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not a new idea. It's something that Cisco's been talking about for a long time because it's the right answer.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I don't mean all security goes into the network, but there's certain security functions, like let's talk about a firewall, that can be so much more effective if they're tightly integrated to the network. Now, the careful listener will say, oh yeah, Cisco's done that, and you might even recognize me like, oh, Tom, didn't you actually work on that?
There was a younger version of you, I believe. that it
Younger, smarter,
ISR security,
better-looking version of me that worked on infusing security to the network into the ISR. And the thing we did that was the most interesting is we put it into a catalyst switch.
Yeah.
So if you remember, we had a very, very clever name for it. It was called FWSM.
Oh,
yeah.
Just rolls off the tongue.
FWSM,
Yeah.
Firewall Services Module. It was a dedicated security processor in a data center switch. Customers loved it. Now, more than a decade later, we've reimagined that whole concept where we can put security into the fabric of the network with Hypershield in itty-bitty little tiny enforcement points. And for customers at scale, you could have 1 million tiny little baby enforcement points. Now,
are they baby enforcement points because it's the level of granularity in which they're acting upon?
Yes.
Because you're not stopping a whole service necessarily. You're stopping a very specific thing from happening.
And that's the key, is that security needs to have context to what we're protecting. So if we know, hey, I'm sitting under a Postgres database, we can put policies in place that are specific to that Postgres database. We can shield vulnerabilities that we know to exist. We can look at access and flows that should never be occurring and protect that database very specifically. And this would not have been possible without AI, right? You can't manage 1 million firewalls the way you manage a traditional firewall. So AI is the kind of breakthrough capability that allows us to put security into the fabric of the network in a way that is highly autonomous, easy to deploy, and far more effective than it ever used to be.
Yeah, this is some of the functionality where we then come back up, and it was one of the points I loved, but this notion of kind of extending that patching window. Now, of course, the fear is you tell me that this is solving that problem. Well, do I still need to patch?
It's funny. I just came from a group of customers talking about exactly this topic. So we have the ability to deploy compensating controls on our customers' applications. So an enterprise application, we can shield those vulnerabilities. It does not eliminate the need to patch. It is a finger in the dike. Right?
Yeah.
It's a very automated and kind of temporary control so that you can patch in an orderly fashion. Now, when we introduced this concept, you remember, we started talking about this about 2 years ago. And when I would show this to customers, they're like, ooh, that's amazing. But hey, Cisco, you know what? Patching your switches and your routers and your firewalls is hard.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, these are inline devices. These are high-performance devices. They're hard to upgrade, right? You have to use a change control window. You're doing it over, 4th of July or Christmas. And so we're taking the same technical building blocks, and we've implemented it into our own switches. So we announced a capability called Cisco Live Protect, which allows us, if we know we have a vulnerability in the Nexus operating system, NXOS, we will create a compensating control, and we will push it into the Nexus dashboard, and an administrator can then say, I'm going to apply this shield to this switch without rebooting the switch. It's a big deal.
And you had to build towards that, right? Because we were monolithic, of course, in previous versions of this software. So it's been well before we even knew what Gen AI was, and it became such a common term. You guys had to be working on some capability here, because you could see that the deconstructive, the ability to break these things out and address them independently without having knock-on effects to their neighbors.
Yep.
But this is kind of a general question because I'm sure you have been very much in the middle of this. But all the announcements this week with so many product lines, 19 new switches in the industrial side, and then new routers, and then new namings and management platforms. And I like the fact that even though we've gone through change like that before, this actually feels a bit more consolidated in a way that makes more functional sense than I've seen in the past.
I will argue that what Cisco has been talking about and we're executing on is delivering a platform. So what does a platform mean? We just talked in the earlier segment about some of the unique capabilities that Cisco's developing around AI defense.
Right.
How do we protect AI-based applications? So we're taking that AI defense and we're putting it into this distributed firewall called Hypershield. And we're taking that distributed firewall and we're putting it into a data center switch or a campus switch with the Catalyst smart
Different
switches.
forms based on location.
And then we're taking the network with those network services and we're bringing it right to the doorstep of the GPU for our AI-ready data center. That's a platform, right? Advanced security integrated in the fabric of the networks and scale to AI throughput, all working across multiple different heterogeneous systems, but with one integrated approach, one integrated management console. It's pretty transformative.
I'm just impressed because I'm like, how have you guys pulled this off? Because it just feels like much more has been of significant announcement has been made. You know, thinking about Apple had
the building
made
blocks
up for all those announcements.
The building blocks that we have to do this are much better than they were a year ago, and those building blocks are advanced silicon. So Silicon One, which is Cisco switching ASIC, allows us, it's the engine that can do a lot of this magic. We work with our silicon partners, AMD, NVIDIA, and Intel, and we can put these advanced processors into those smart switches. And then the AI management to make this stuff actually usable at scale. A lot of that stuff didn't exist 2 years ago, but now it does.
Tom, thank you so much. I hate to cut you off, but we're going to have to keep moving on the show. I could talk to you forever, so don't run away.
It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks
and with
for
that,
coming.
Lauren, I'll go back to you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Tom. And now we're going to see a video by our very own Michelle walk us through AI readiness area of the world in the world of solutions.
Hey folks, it's Michelle. Welcome to the AI Ready Data Centers. This is an awesome exhibit and I'm excited for you folks to come check it out. There's one thing that I want to leave you with, and it is that Cisco will help transform data centers to be able to work on any AI workload and environment. All right, I want to talk through some of the customer challenges that we hear in the market every day. One, intensifying threat landscape. Year after year, there are more threats that organizations have to manage. It is a complex landscape out there. So where does Cisco come in to help? We provide a flexible infrastructure. One thing that I'm personally very excited to talk about is the platform advantage. I myself am a product marketing manager for Splunk. I love talking about our platform advantage and what we offer to customers to make them feel safe and secure every day. We have expertise in powering AI. We have security infused into the data center fabric. And therefore, we are built for performance and efficiency. That leads me to outcomes. Our customers have a more strengthened digital resiliency. They also have security consistently everywhere. All right, one last thing to leave you with. Come check this out. Build AI-ready data centers. Learn what to do, how to start here. There's demos, there's solutions. There is a lot to learn. The last piece of advice is that learn how critical Cisco infrastructure mixed with our partner solutions make you ready to win. Come check it out. I'm excited to as well.
I always love hearing Michelle. Everything she said was accurate, as we know, right? And I feel like we keep talking security, but I always like to put it big picture and talk about the why, because there's a reason, right? Everyone out there, you all know why we're doing this, but I just want to level set because security is always top of mind for me. We talk about this cyber threat landscape, but what does that mean? That's expanding attack surface. Digging deeper into that means that there's more areas and entry points for these attackers to get in. That doesn't make things easy. It also leads to more alerts that are coming. Alert fatigue is the #1 challenge that our analysts are facing in the SOC. right? And then you also have all these different tools. Everybody has a certain tool for every little piece of the puzzle, but what that means is that it's harder and harder for you to really be able to understand what happened, when it happened, and ultimately how to solve it, how to fix it, okay? And so that's why the power and what we keep branding as the SOC of the future is so important. You need a platform to make all of those challenges simple. Go away, right? You need one single interface to unify your threat detection and your response. And it's all about being proactive. Too often we're chasing and we're trying to do things quicker, but why are we trying to do it quicker? Because we realize that we are reactive. So how do you get in front of these issues? You need to be able to rely on a single kind of interface that has all these features. So when you hear us say SOC of the future, it's bigger than just a single tool. It is multiple features that we know will help you be able to protect yourselves against what's happening in what we keep talking about, this expanding threat landscape, okay? So anyway, I don't want to geek out too much. I'm going to have my time to talk more Splunk in a minute here, but we are absolutely adding all these features for you and making them native inside of our platform. So again, I'm going to tee myself up for a little bit later. You'll hear me talk a lot. I'm going to say nerd out and geek out with my friend Michelle here, but before that, let me just kind of give you a glimpse into what we have coming up next. One of those things is powering the SOC of the future. So you will hear deeper messaging about what I was just talking about. You'll hear me talk more about it later. We're going to have a session on that. You're also going to be able to see some more videos about what we can do, what you can do as a customer, what you can do as a partner to better protect against the threats out there. Now, I am going to make sure that you're all wrapped up. We're going to be able to throw this to the center stage for that Power to SOC of the Future coming up. Can't wait. We're going to have Tony Patera of Splunk giving you the message. Let's go.